Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Get $30 off your order of perfectly aged steaks, juicy burgers, and decadent desserts with our promo code VOLS, that is VOLS, Omaha Steaks. Tennessee baseball, I mean, we haven't talked about it much leading up just because the season hasn't happened yet, and it's just been kind of preseason practices and things like that. Nothing of real note has occurred yet, but the things of note that have occurred are this. Tennessee's three starting weekend pitchers, all three of them, are All-Americans. Preseason, first team All-Americans. All three of them. And then they also have South Halverson. And then they also have an additional All-American in Maliahuna, who I think he was second team, and he'll be a fielder for Tennessee. But you got an MLB pitching staff with this team. You lost a bunch of your offense and a decent amount of your fielding, but also got a bunch in the transfer portal coming in on top of Maliahuna. He came from Kansas. But you have guys in addition to that. And I don't want to come in with these kind of expectations, but you're preseason number 2. And it's pretty exciting, Zach. Is this the team that's going to finally win that national title for Vol baseball?
Nah, we'll see. I don't like making those types of predictions with baseball because it's so dependent on staying healthy, right? Especially your pitching. To me, the pitching is what's most exciting about this team because pitching is what wins. That's what wins late in the season. That's what you can count on. The offense can come and go. You can go through slumps, but the pitching is what can really keep you being an elite team. So I think, yeah, they definitely, of course, just like last year, I think they've got the opportunity to go all the way. But you can have a great regular season, and it can all fall apart, before you get to Omaha. So it's really hard to make those types of predictions. But I think fans should be just as excited. But I think they got to remember, though, especially Tennessee's players, that you got to prove it again. Like what you did last year doesn't matter. That's done. All the excitement. You're not just going to pick up where you left off because you want to or because you're at Tennessee. You got to go out there and make your own way, and it's got to be a different team. And, it's the 2023 team. 2022 team was fun. 2021 team was fun. But this is a new era, a lot of new faces. So, we'll see how it goes. But I think there's plenty of reason for positivity, without a doubt.
I'm very interested to see how they replace the offensive production because, with this pitching staff, I mean, you're just going to be locked down in those weekend games. At least you should be, largely. And that's really exciting, but obviously you have to score runs to win games. You have Blake Burke, who was a straight up firecracker last season and had some really electric moments. But outside of him, I mean, you lost Jordan Beck, you lost Drew Gilbert, and you lost Trey Lipscomb, and you lost all of these guys that were just really great hitters. And I wanted to make sure that I got all this right. This was from friend of the show, Ben McKee, one of our only two-time guests. But let's see, he said from Ben on 247 today, he said Vitello and his staff at the transfer portal hard. When the window opened up, they added Maliahuna from Kansas, Cincinnati outfielder Griffin Merritt, Alabama third baseman Zane Denton, who I believe is a Knoxville native, Charlotte right-hand pitcher Andrew Lindsay, in addition to several key junior college arms that appear poised to factor into the pitching staff this season. The article that Ben wrote was about preseason predictions for Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. It wasn't a prediction for who will win the NCAA tournament, but where teams will end up. Tennessee was projected as the number 2 overall seed and a number 1 seed. And that's obviously really exciting. Tennessee was the number 1 overall seed last season, and that ended sadly in a defeat to Notre Dame. But I think this team, the chemistry is where I wonder what it'll be like, because it was just so magic last season, and they don't have those super fiery dudes like
Beck and Gilbert.
Exactly. But does that almost work in their favor? I wonder that too. Maybe they'll be a little more poised. Maybe they'll be a little more just kind of grounded and focused instead of wanting to bat flip right in your face. I don't know. Or maybe they'll come out in that same way.
I think you're going to see a lot of similarities. I mean, it's going to be a different team, right? I mean, it's different personalities. It'll be a different version of Tennessee baseball, but I think you're going to see a lot of the same kind of bravado and swagger because it starts with Tony Vitello. I mean, that comes from him. He allows his guys to play that way. If he was at Arkansas coach, for example, you would see similar antics or whatever you want to call it with the same players. Like you'd see the same type of swagger because that comes from the top. It comes with how you manage the team, how you run your roster. It all starts with Tony V. This is the guy that was sitting courtside in an Easy E shirt with a black Tennessee hat that everybody wants to buy now at the Missouri game. He's just got that attitude like Josh Heupel. It's very genuine. It doesn't feel forced. He's just being himself, and he lets his players be themselves. So, whatever personalities are on this team, I'm sure there'll be some quiet guys, some more louder guys, guys with more swagger, guys that want to bat flip, whatever it is. He's going to let that personality come out of them. So they'll be their own team. We'll have different characters this season, but I think you'll see just them be themselves. And Tony Vitello has shown that he'll allow that.
I hope so. Enjoy presidential savings on Omaha Steaks favorites, including tender steaks, ocean fresh seafood, air chilled chicken, and more during their President's Day sale. Go to omahasteaks.com right now and use promo code VOLS, that is VOLS, at checkout, and get $30 off your order. That's $30 off an endless variety of delicious gourmet foods, from perfectly aged and tender steaks to juicy burgers, decadent desserts, and classic comfort meals. Every bite is backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit omahasteaks.com and enter VOLS at checkout and take advantage of this exclusive offer. I've gotten Omaha Steaks delivered straight to my door now, plenty, and it is incredible. I really can't suggest it enough. Super high quality, and obviously the convenience is just ridiculous. So there is a reason why Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks and food since 1970. No one, and I mean no one, comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and value of Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com. Use promo code VOLS, again, VOLS, at checkout to get that extra $30 off your order. A minimum order may be required. That's Omaha Steaks, promo code VOLS. So, and I mean, knowing Tony, he's going to let them be what they want to be, character-wise. That team last year wanted to be that just over-the-top, bravado-filled team, and maybe this one will also be that. Maybe it won't be. I'm like on pins and needles though. It's a Friday night, and typically like Friday night's a night where I just like to do whatever I want to do and forget about, Tennessee sports don't typically happen on Fridays. Like, just step away. But I'm gonna be tuning in. I'm not missing this because I'm really excited to see what happens with this baseball team.
And there are something else I think is gonna be fun to watch this year. Like somebody like Maui Ahuna, like he's gonna be a future MLB player most likely. He's got a very marketable name. The NIL deals that he gets, that's going to be interesting to see and how it helps recruiting moving forward. This team's on television, I think 14, like not streamed, like national television 14 times this season. They didn't have that last year. I think as much hype as Tennessee got last year, if they're just as good this year, that's just going to explode. It's going to go to a whole nother level in 2023, and that's going to be really fun to watch.
I think you got to get like a sushi restaurant in Knoxville. It's got to be the Maui Ahuna tuna roll. Something like that. With that name, the possibilities are endless.
Oh yeah.
So it's just really exciting what could happen with that team. But I mean, with Beam and Dolander and that whole pitching staff, you look at the teams that have historically won College World Series. I mean, that's the type of teams that have, like the last one that Vandy won, they had Kumar Rocker and
Jack Leiter.
They just had those transcendent pitchers, and Dolander is, I mean, he's the dude. He's the preseason pitcher of the year nationally, I believe, by whatever service gives that out. And like, you have that kind of prowess on this team, and I hate to put it this way, but it's almost like if you don't win it with teams like this, when are you going to win it? like that's, I hate that, but I think it also holds true. It's like The baseball's weird. I mean, Ole Miss was certainly not the best team in America last year, and they won. And Mississippi State the year before that wasn't the best team in America, and they won.
Yeah, to me,
But
baseball, like I've said this before, it's about the journey. Like you want to win, of course, but if you don't win, like last year wasn't a failure to me because they didn't make it. Like that didn't
yeah,
erase what happened during that really extremely fun regular season. To me, baseball, yeah, you want to win it, but it's about the journey, the ride to get there, the spring and summer leading up to that, everything that you get to experience, the great moments. That to me is what it's about. You get into that tournament situation or a playoff situation, you just don't know if your pitching's going to hold up. You don't know if guys are going to go into a slump. Another team gets hot, like you mentioned with Ole Miss. Like they weren't the best team in the country last year. They weren't even close to the best team in the country. And just because they won the College World Series doesn't mean they were the best team in the country. It just the cards fell right for them in that particular month. So that's not what it's about to me. Like I don't feel like you can. There's just so many variables that you can't account for.
playing right at the right time. But
Yeah,
at the
and
same
baseball is
time,
weird. Baseball is just a weird sport in general at times.
it is. At the same time, you only lost 9 games all season last year, so you can be good and just win.
Oh yeah,
there is that. It's maybe a little more of that in college baseball where you can override teams with talent. MLB is pretty, competitive across the board, but uh we shall see. We'll see what happens when they take the field on Friday night in Arizona, right against Arizona, I believe,
yeah,
in
and they're in
Glendale.
Glendale, Scottsdale. I think they're in different locations for each game in Arizona. We'll say Eric does make a point here that I guess I need to mention. He says last year the media was calling them the best team in college baseball history, so it was pretty disappointing when you don't win it all. When you put it like that, yeah, that is you can't be the best team in college baseball history and then not make it, not win it all. So that yeah, I can see that aspect of it. And in that situation, I guess with so much hype and the way that they went on that streak of not losing the series, yeah, I guess you could call it a little bit of a disappointment.
That is pretty much what I would say about it. It's extremely fun, but at the end of the day, it was a disappointment.
They
Yeah,
did
Mr.
peak
Jones
too
says in the
soon.
comments there, peak too soon. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. And we'll end